Hello! I am so excited to be able to share with you today In the Jungle, or Letters and Numbers 3 from Gather Round. First, I should just say this is Rachel from 7 and All, and before I have made videos with a flip through of Letters and Numbers 1, which is a forest theme, as well as Letters and Numbers 2, which is a farm theme. Now, something that's important to understand is that this is book 3 in Gather Round's Letters and Numbers unit series, but you do not have to complete Letters and Numbers 1 and 2 before moving on to book 3. This is all depending on the age and the skill level of your child. So your child might be old enough and might be skilled enough and ready to just go straight into Letters and Numbers 3, which is why this is a very exciting one. Letters and Numbers 1 and 2 are a 26-week course through the alphabet in a very gentle way without any handwriting involved. So, for example, I'm going through this right now with my 2.5-year-old son, and he's really doing fantastically with it. It's very good for the younger preschooler. Letters and Numbers 3 and later 4 will be 2 themed unit study style books that are going through the alphabet. 26 weeks in all, so each book will be 13 weeks. They're going through the alphabet again if you did 1 and 2, or if you start with books 3 and 4, you can just start straight in with the alphabet. And you are spending a week on each letter, but this time there's handwriting and there's letter formation involved, so that really ups the difficulty. Also, I'll show you in the student book, they're working with sounds in a more advanced way at this level. So this is for the older preschooler to kindergarten level. And I'm going to show you what this looks like. I am very excited for the jungle theme. This hits very close to home. I often get told that my videos sometimes sound like they're made in the rainforest or in the jungle because people can hear the birds or the rain. And that's very true. I pretty much do live in the rainforest. You know, this is talking about monkeys and hornbills and all of that. Like my family home, we've had monkeys inside the home. I do not recommend it. Monkeys cause a big mess when they get in your home, so don't recommend that part of it. But the tropical rainforests are close to my heart, so this is an exciting unit for me. Like the other Letters and Numbers books, your week starts with a This Week We'll Cover section, which goes over what are you covering in science, Bible, in the alphabet, in any fine motor skills, social studies, and art. And it's important, I think, to just take a minute to glance at this week at a glance right here at the beginning of each of your weeks. It will show you usually in art. There's kind of a variety. There's a similar activity for every week, and then ideas of kind of how to change it up and try out different art techniques. So here is where you'll always find your ideas for different art techniques for that art activity. Here's where you'll see your Bible verse or Bible story. And just like in books 1 and 2, this is continuing the rhythm of moving in a 3-week pattern from the Old Testament to a gospel story, and then to some kind of application of you and your relationship with God, a characteristic of God, something of that sort. So it's the same 3-week pattern and rhythm, just picking up where Letters and Numbers 2 left off as far as the Bible. And then we have our 1-page, very short lessons for each day, starting off with the rhinoceros hornbill, which we do have these not far from where we live. I think they've actually featured in some of my other videos from vacation. Our little Bible passage, which always suggests that you can read the story in a storybook Bible. 3 review questions. And then you will get 4 lessons for each week in the book. There are 13 weeks of 4 lessons each. And then you end the week with a short review, a couple of review questions, always an active kinesthetic learning type of game right here. Oh, and I should mention this. Every animal that you learn about in the Jungle book, they have a little reminder, did you put it on your map? So it explains this in the beginning, but because tropical rainforest animals tend to be stay in one region of the world. They don't tend to be like, some animals you'll read about and you're like, basically these live on all continents except Antarctica. There was a lot of that in the forest animals one. But the rainforest animals are a little bit different. That specific animals tend to stick in their specific continent because of the tropical nature of those continents. So there's all these little animals that after you learn about each one, so wait, I guess this is a good little review right here of what animals you get to read about and learn about. So start with the rhinoceros hornbill. You get to paste it into that region of the world. So it doesn't give you a map. It suggests you can use whatever wall map you have. Homeschoolers are kind of notorious for decorating their houses with maps. I don't know, do you decorate your house with maps? I do. I used to have 2. I currently only have 1 in my house, but I like my big maps. Otherwise, you can, even find a way to kind of draw out on a big old piece of paper a general outline of the world. I think there's really good ways to make it work for you. And here's a little cheat sheet for where these animals are found, just to have that handy. It's not actually supposed to print like this. I had a mistake made when printing, but don't worry, the books are designed, the way that they're designed, they print properly. But if there's user error, then you can make mistakes. So try to avoid the user error thing. But that's how this teacher's guide works. I'll show you a little bit more inside. Oh, there's the monkeys. Don't let them in your house. Tokay, gecko, kingfisher, elephant. All sorts of really, really fun animals to learn about. Oh, and in a 3-week, kind of like how the Bible rotates every 3 weeks, there's also character building, readied reader tips, and life skills learning suggestions that alternate on the different 3 weeks. So that's really cool. All right, so you'll get to see the Asian, South American, and African rainforest animals represented in here. Then this is the student book, which is where you get to learn handwriting and all sorts of stuff. Here's our scope and sequence. If you want to take a little look at that. Whole lot to cover. So you'll see, this is not just letters and numbers. A lot of people think, oh, you can buy any old letters and numbers workbook for way cheaper. And you definitely can. And that is a good option if you want that. This is more designed to be all incorporated subjects. So we've got social studies, science, Bible, language arts, math. It's incorporating everything. And it's not a lot. It's a pretty light preschool program, I would say. It's only 3 worksheets a day. So it's designed to be very open and go, keep it simple, but still have some opportunities for messy fun. This is really cool. There's a very thorough note about teaching handwriting here. So if you're kind of new to this journey of homeschooling, if you're new to teaching handwriting, they include a lot of elements to think about and advice if you are struggling with it, and it also includes an explanation of the system of writing taught here. Basically, the way that writing is taught is not to do pages and pages of writing the same thing again and again and trying to exhaust you, but just to really emphatically try to teach your child, we're only going to do this a couple times. You're only going to write this letter 3 times, but you're going to try to write it the best you can. You're going to write this very well. You're going to do a good job. And to me, that is very effective. That is definitely my philosophy on handwriting. Not to just write endlessly, but to do it a little bit, right? And when you do it well and have high expectations for it. So this is the page which is teaching formation, the initial formation of the letter A, like this. And it's got 3 stages. First, place your pencil at the start dots, trace the A's in the direction of the arrows. Then second, place the start dots. So your child is actually supposed to draw in the start dots where they go and then trace the letter. So that is reinforcing where you're supposed to start with each line of the pencil. So you go ahead and start, draw the little dot, and start. Then third, you get to do it on your own. Then they always have a handwriting check. Let me see. I'll bring that in closer. Okay. It's saying, if you're satisfied, put in a check. And it prompts you as you go throughout the book to teach your child to self-check, to say, what are you looking for in a well-written letter? What are you looking for in a well-written letter? And to be able to check themselves as they do it. So they're practicing writing their name on this page, and this is the kind of art project that is always the same, but also always different throughout the book. So each week you get one of the animals to cut out that you can color, and then make a beautiful background that reminds you of the forest that the animal lives in. So they give different suggestions. Here it says you can paint a leafy green background, you could use oil pastels or any other different art supplies. So there's different suggestions. Sometimes they do like a mosaic or like tissue paper, different kinds of backgrounds. There's always some kind of multi-sensory option or a simpler option. So here, this is just a little review of shapes. Find shapes that use curved lines. Oh, and then this, it's a scavenger hunt. So they're gonna go on a shape hunt. Go throughout your house and find something in that shape, and then check it off as you go. Then that was all of lesson 1, by the way. So now we're up to lesson 2. Lesson 2, 0 is introduced. And they're using the same number and letter friends throughout this book that were introduced in letters and numbers 1 and 2. So this will be review, but with teaching how to write. If you did numbers 1 and 2, this will be the introduction. If you're starting with letters and numbers 3. And here's a little social studies activity, which is about order. What order things go in. And this is the number page, which is kind of repeated throughout. The 0 one you don't do a lot on, because draw 0 objects, draw tally marks to show the 0, color 0 blacks. You don't really do anything. But I think this is really clever to have a page where you do nothing, almost nothing, to emphasize 0 means nothing. And of course we have the vowel sound incorporated, but we're not only focusing on coming at the beginning. We are also bringing in the idea it can come in the middle. It can come at the beginning or in the middle of words. It can come in different places. So writing in the letter A. Here's our Bible page. We have our verse from Joshua. A dictation page right here. A little review of both handwriting and math. There. And then ending with making the mini book for the week, which this would have printed correctly had there not been user error. But it's very similar to the mini books in letters and numbers 1 and 2, but it is also different because now we have this, okay, here's word with at in the middle, here's it at the beginning. Here's it in the middle, here's it at the beginning, and there's also handwriting included. So I thought it was a very nice, slightly leveled up at this kind of more upper preschool, early kindergarten book. I am so sad about the user error in printing, but oh well, I will not be sad. I will make it work. Okay, this is sorting small, medium, and large shapes. Oh yeah, we are already on to lesson 5, so we are progressing quickly. We're in the 2nd week. Trying to give you a look of the variety of things we have here. Okay, this is noticing similarities. So circling the item that's the most similar and talking about it. All right, oh, this is a classic, of course, layers of the rainforest. And then putting on some of the different animals they've learned about in different layers of the rainforest. Now, because B is a consonant, it's not doing letter at the beginning and letter in the middle anymore. Now it's doing letter at the beginning or letter at the end. So that's cool. Here, the giant anteater they learned about this week is hungry. Looking for some letters. We have that. So you can see it has a lot that's similar. It also has things that are different, introducing horizontal, vertical, diagonal lines. Here, so here, like their suggestion for the art is sponge painting on paper to have a creative and messy option. This will be a life cycle of a frog, but something that's cool about this to me is it's a life cycle of a poison frog. So the diagram they have in the back is of a really colorful frog, not just, you know, normal pond frog. Here they have highlighted the main tropical forest areas in the world to be able to just kind of know where in the world are we talking about. And we're progressing. So this book will get through the first half of the alphabet, and it will get through numbers 1 through 10 within this book. So that does move faster than this one, the Letters and Numbers book 1, which only gets through numbers 1 through 6. Here is just some working with math. Ooh, describing where objects are. That's a really cool one. Above, below, I like that. Snake. Ooh, animals that live in the rainforest and ones that don't. Samuel, here's God's voice. We have some B and D differentiation. Really good. This is one of the books I would say it's definitely worthwhile to print in color. You know me, I always print in black and white when I can, and there's definitely some. So if you wanted to do page by page, there's some you could get away with printing in black and white on for sure. But there's enough activities that definitely incorporate color that I think it's nice to have the color if you can. Bat anatomy related to, that was a flying fox, looks like. We got recycling here. Ooh, writing a letter, which that one, they're not writing. They are dictating a letter to you, but it's building that idea. Oop. Oh yes, I did want to show you this. Okay, I think this is really cool. Having your child practice assessing letters. Practice, is that a well-written A? Is that a well-written B? Is that a well-written F? And talking about what's wrong.